This video is sponsored by BetterHelp.
One ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them, in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie.
DIY friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Danie, your friendly neighborhood DIYer, and today we are stepping into the world of Mad Lib, the DIY edition. I'm so excited to execute this episode because I've had this idea in the back of my mind for so long. So I put out a blanketed statement on my community page and you guys literally nailed it. I couldn't have been more happy with the answers that came forward. Like, I feel like you guys just genuinely know me. You guys dived into Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Batman, anime, Firefly, there's Studio Ghibli. It actually genuinely made it so hard for me to pick just one. But we are going to be diving into the world of Lord of the Rings. We are going into Middle Earth. It's gonna get weird. I started sketching ideas out and it's just like my creativity was just like booming. I kind of had to like rein it in. So let's jump into this Mad Lib DIY edition. Editor, roll the tape. Boop. All right, friends, here was the Mad Lib sentence I shared with you on my community page. It was this answer that I went with, if you haven't guessed yet. The Dark Lord Sauron calls DIY Danie to create a jewelry box for his beauty room. This is not a sentence I ever thought would show up in my community page, and it brings me a lot of joy. If you are not a Lord of the Rings fan, that is totally okay. I'm gonna give a little backstory to who our friend Sauron is. To put it simply, Sauron is the antagonist of the world of the Lord of the Rings. He is the creator of the One Ring. It was said at the end of the Second Age, he was defeated in the War of the Last Alliance of Elves and Men. Isildur, ruler of Gondor, managed to cut the One Ring from Sauron's finger. Basically, this dismantled the Dark Lord's mortal form and all of his power. So centuries basically go by, he was lying dormant, and Sauron returns in the Third Age, but unfortunately he was defeated after Frodo Baggins, our dear friend Frodo, stopped his evil plans by destroying the One Ring in the fires of Mount Doom in Mordor. Also, I think I just really relate to antagonists because I feel like just having the evil laugh, I think, is really the key point here. Wow. We have our character, we have our decor item, and we have our place, and now all we need is a dope idea, so let me show you what I'm thinking. Let's pull up a picture of our lovely friend Sauron. It's got a pretty cool defined mask feature, and I think I kind of want to lean into that as like something to shape this jewelry box. So I'm kind of thinking of doing it in two beats. One which is the box, and then the other thing which is this kind of like platform that the box sits on. I've given this a lot of thought, but I think I'm going to build this out of epoxy so that I can kind of create a really cool feature to it. We're gonna go like a fiery route, so I want to play with some blacks and I want to play with some reds, some sparkle. It's gonna have some cool little, like, you know, little hardware features on the corners. On the middle, what I want to do is create this like magnified eye. So the eye of Sauron. The eye is a very prominent character feature of Sauron as we kind of develop his character throughout the Lord of the Rings movies. And I think that that's something I really want to build into the box. So I kind of love this idea that like his eye would be in the middle of the box. The base that this thing is going to sit on, I think it's going to be cool. So looking to his helmet as kind of like my guideline, I want to create this kind of box that has these crazy pieces that kind of come up and they almost feel like claws. Looking at this really closely, it looks like a Power Rangers bad guy.
I don't see you doing any better, Radiator Face!
Maybe there's like some channels of lava that's kind of running out here, which I think could be kind of a cool effect. Yeah? Okay. Let the battle for Middle Earth jewelry box begin. All right, guys, just taking a quick step away from the DIY to talk to you about the sponsor of today's episode, BetterHelp. Let's talk about mental health, shall we? Personally, I am a huge advocate for therapy. I have been seeing a therapist on a regular basis for close to a year now. It's funny because before I decided to talk to anyone, I always thought therapy couldn't really help me. I mean, I'm a realist and I believed I knew what was best for me. I could always find a way to solve my personal issues. But through that, I let things build up inside me. I turned my frustrated emotions into anger. Feels really good. So I took the advice of a friend and found someone to talk to. It has been incredibly helpful to have an outside perspective on the way that I perceive elements of my life. We were able to really dive into deeper rooted issues that I had no idea was even affecting my day-to-day, but together we explored ways to expand my thinking and how to grow from them. And it is because of that I am so excited to partner with BetterHelp, who is providing everyone access to therapy in an accessible, affordable, and convenient way. Their website is so user-friendly, which I appreciate as a person. You just fill out a multiple choice questionnaire about yourself, and in 48 hours, they are going to match you with a licensed professional therapist that you can communicate with securely online. It is like Fort Knox. No information is getting out. Overall though, I think my favorite part about BetterHelp is the accessibility. Not only can you schedule weekly video or phone calls with your therapist, but you could just log in at any time and send them audio clips, video clips, or text messages whenever you want in their messaging room on the website. And there are no physical appointments, and you can book sessions conveniently around your schedule because you're busy and you got things to do. But mental health is important, so this is helping you. You choose a schedule. And to top it all off, BetterHelp is actually more affordable than traditional online counseling, and if you need it, financial aid is available. Just to be clear, it's not a crisis line, it's not self-help. BetterHelp is a network of 15,000 plus counselors around the world with a broad range of expertise that can be available at your fingertips in a secure and confidential fashion. If this is something you've never considered and you think you can benefit from talking to someone, visit betterhelp.com/DIY Danie and join over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health. As a bonus, BetterHelp has given me a code that allows you to get 10% off your first month by using my URL code listed in my description box. Go check it out. Don't take your mental health for granted, friends. It is so important, and I am the first person to say how much therapy has helped me navigate hard times in my life. So take care of yourself because honestly, you come first. Whew. All right, let's get back to the DIY, but just to be clear, I'm pretty sure if Sauron knew about BetterHelp, he probably would have been able to clear up a lot of issues he'd been holding on for a long time. Just saying. Back to the DIY. We are in the evil lair because we're doing something for an evil being. So today, the DIY studio is an evil lair that we had to take a roller coaster to get to. So, my first thought was to create the jewelry box out of epoxy so that we could play with some cool colors. So I went on Amazon and I bought a jewelry box kind of epoxy kit. This is probably one of the best purchasing pages I've ever been on to purchase this. I've just never seen anything like it in my life. The one that really sold it for me was the mother who is angrily telling the child, no, you've done something wrong, and then they've just placed the box in the frame and then all of the pieces around it. I'm sorry, what? Why this picture? Why did someone go out of their way to take this picture to be the one that is going to sell this product? It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, if I'm being completely honest. Now, it's kind of neat. They come in giant puzzle pieces, so I'm guessing that at the end of this all, we're just going to fit the puzzle pieces together. I'm not feeling very confident, but we will see. If this does not work, your girl has a plan B. At the dollar store, I did happen to find this wooden box, this nice jewelry box. So if it does come down to it, we have a backup. So we're gonna go with this first. We're gonna see what happens and hope for the best. I need to clean these and then I will come back and then we will mix the epoxy. BRB. Okay, so we are moving on to the base of our box. My box is obviously drying because the epoxy, so I'm actually going to use my wood box, which is actually a little bit bigger than the epoxy box, which is good. So I'll use this as my guide, and then at least I know my epoxy box is going to fit inside it. And then if the epoxy doesn't turn out, at least we know this is gonna fit. What I was hoping to get for this was some regular foam. I have two types of foam, like styrofoam here, and then I have the floral green foam. Working with both materials makes me wanna hurl. Oh, I hate the sound of that. We are going to power through this emotion today so that we can get the base built. Between the styrofoam and the floral foam, I think I have a pretty good chance of building this out. I wanted to use the kind of like the insulation foam, but it came in such big chunks. I couldn't find a smaller size buy. I don't love the way that this styrofoam shapes and molds, so I opted for the floral foam to create kind of the spikes, the little fingers that are gonna come up. But then I was like, how am I gonna paint this? Because it's just gonna absorb the paint. I went online, as all people do, but it was recommended that I use an epoxy coat. The guy in the video actually used a West Coast epoxy, or West System epoxy, which I actually have. So I am going to use that to cover all of the pieces. It's going to give it a nice hard coat to be able to paint with the acrylic paint. So here's hoping. I mean, so far I've been able to create a giant tooth. So that's nice.
Okay, I think we're done.
I think we're done. Now that the whole epoxy has kind of coated the thing, I just need this to dry and harden, and then I'm gonna give it a light sand and then do a second coat before I go to bed. So cross fingers that that is the right thing. I will inform you in the morning where we're at. So very exciting. And then tomorrow morning I will update you guys on where the epoxy is, because the box is looking so dope. I'm so excited. So either way, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome back to the evil layer, where we continue our cool jewelry box. It just doesn't sound evil when you say you're making a jewelry box. So I have let this sit overnight. The epoxy has done what it needed to do. It looks very unusual. Now, the actual styrofoam on the top, it does need a little bit of a scuff, a little bit of a sand. So I'm going to give it a 220 just to kind of scratch it up a little bit. And then we are going to cover the whole thing with this latex primer. Very soon this will look like it's coming from the depths of Mount Doom with lava and rock. And then there's the one eye, and it's gonna be like, bruh. It's gonna be cool, okay? Oh, I should move my coffee out of the way. There you are, sweet coffee. Okay, so I brought back the epoxy pieces. Like, guys, Look how dope this looks. Check that out. Look at how it kind of looks like there's an eye in the middle. How dope is that? I haven't actually taken them out of this yet, of their floppy pieces. So let's get all these pieces out. So this is a very satisfying thing. So we need to figure out how this is going to work. So the pieces would fit like a puzzle. There was no instructions provided. They were just like, here's your mold, have fun. Okay, okay, okay. I mean, that's pretty dope. I need to glue this up together just so that it works. Other than the top piece, which I guess is just gonna chill. I'm just gonna like glue it. Is that bad? I kind of expected it to fit like a little bit more snug, if I'm being completely honest. I'm going to let this dry so that it can cure. While I'm waiting on my box to dry behind me and our little scene, I wanted to show you guys some of the hardware that I sourced off Amazon to kind of zhuzh the box up and kind of give it a little bit more of an ornate look. It's all these little corner brackets. There's these cute little corner feet. I'm gonna add some like faux hardware on the back. I'm gonna spray paint these black. And then hopefully with them black, I think it's gonna kind of lean into that kind of funky look that we're going for. D-O-P-E, dope. While we are waiting on everything to dry, the one issue is that I don't have the one ring, the actual ring of power. I actually have this little silicone ring mold that I figured we can just put some yellow into the epoxy and see if we can kind of just create our own one ring, something that can just give the box some purpose. We gotta talk. I think overall, like this just really isn't what I had hoped it to be. It's not, like the look of it, yes, I think it looks cool. It's kind of got like some really amazing features on it, but the glue just didn't work well. I don't really like this feature here on the side. It just doesn't feel very Middle Earth. So with that said, I am so happy that I did have a plan B in my back pocket because yeah, this just no good. I mean, to be fair, now I understand why that woman was screaming at her child, I hate this box. I don't know. However, I love good fails because A, I learned something cool, but B, because now I can take what I learned with this and I can apply it into my new box. I don't want to throw out the idea of using epoxy. So let's call this the trial and error box and let's bring this into the picture. So what I would like to do is I'm going to stain the box black, and then when that is dry, I'm going to pour the same epoxy onto the box. The black base is gonna let that kind of lava look really come forward. I have a lot of work to do to catch up to where I'd like to be right now. So let's get removing the hardware off of this, get staining, and then let's get epoxy pouring. Cue the get caught up to where we're at now montage. It's morning! Ow, my foot. It's morning! And the epoxy is dry and it's so exciting. I'm actually the most excited about the ring. The one ring, the one epoxy ring. Woo, woo. Look at that ring. My precious. As far as a stand-in ring goes, I think this will work. Check out this box. I mean, how dope does this look? It's so shiny too. I'm gonna remove all of the tape around the edges because my hope was that I could keep the edges clean so the box will close properly. So pray to the DIY gods that this works. Oh yeah. Yes. We have a clean edge. I can clean that up with some paint, so that's no biggie. So exciting! But now it's like, didn't really think that one through. Where's the lid to the container? Oh, Danie used it for a project again. Box is finished. I'm not gonna lie, that took a while. Also, my hand is very sore. I think the hardware looks amazing on it. I think it looks totally elevated. Comparing to this, it's just so much more superior. Let's talk about the cool element that's gonna go on top of the box. Oh, you thought this was the end? No. I present to you the black box. Muahaha. We have the Eye of Sauron. I just printed it and yeah. To make this eye look super dope, I purchased one of these magnifying domes so that when you put the eye behind it, check it out, it like totally blows the eye up and it makes it like a really cool feature. If we add the eye to the middle of the box and then we add this on top, first of all, we kind of get this really cool mystic looking topper. But then you see the eye in the middle. I'm like, yo, isn't that dope? I'm so excited. Let's cut this out and let's glue this down. I'm done. Honestly, I like don't have any idea what I just made. I'm hoping that you guys love it enough that we can do this again. Maybe we go a little less weird. Maybe we do something kind of more functional. That is not to say that someone can't have a Sauron jewelry box in their home, because honestly, I think the thing looks dope. What I like about the versatility of a box is that it can literally be used for anything, and I think that there's enough fantasy integrated into this box that you could really twist it. Without further ado, editor, go to the beauties. DIY friends, thank you so much for watching this DIY Mad Lib episode. So what did you think? A little bit different for this channel, but it was so much fun to create. And of course, there are going to be a lot more Mad Lib episodes in the future, so watch out for the prompts on my community page. Big thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. A reminder to use the code in my description box to get 10% off your first month of counseling. Check it out and see if it's a good solution for you. As always, my friends, stay positive, stay creative, and keep on DIYing. Bye-bye. Okay, well, off to the shelf you go. Batman, welcome. Sauron, Batman. Everyone's happy.